My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, so I am about to just put makeup on and I just thought I would film it. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this. I'm not even sure like how I'm going to use this footage. I don't know if it'll be a standalone video or if I'll just like put it together with other footage and maybe like make a compilation video of getting ready just with regular makeup. Because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, how about I talk about the fact that I'm filming today and like what I'm thinking I might do going forward with this kind of filming in the video while I'm putting on makeup, and let's just have this be the entire introduction. And so let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So I'm going to start by priming my skin and talking through some of my, like what ordinarily would be introduction materials, but I wanted to just get right into the meat of the video. Cat hair. I actually have some new to me makeup to play with today. That's part of why I feel like extra excited about doing this on camera. Ofra magically managed to get some PR to me, which is really amazing considering my changing and very constrained mail situation right now. They actually didn't have my updated address. They sent PR where they had sent it before, which is to my old address. I mean, it's still our address, it's just that the building is closed. But it seems that not everything got returned to sender. There were like some days when mail was able to be delivered to the building, so some mail got through, and then we were able to pick up some of the mail that had been left there, and this package was one of the few things. So I'm mostly going to be using just the everyday makeup that I have on my vanity right now, the same old stuff that I've been using that you guys have already seen like a bunch of times by now. But one of the things that Ofra sent me is this primer, the Northern Lights primer. So I'm gonna try it out for the first time on camera right now. It smells good. It smells kind of cottony, like a cottony perfume. So it's soaked in really fast and dried down to what feels like a nice soft base for makeup. It's a little bit dewy. It doesn't have anywhere near the like light up your face glowy dew of the VDL primer. It's almost like a cross between a dewy and a mattifying primer, which is really interesting. It feels like it's mattified my skin texture wise, but left just a little bit of shine. But it's a soft shine. It's not like that glossy shine. I'm actually gonna do base first. I am gonna use some eyeshadows that Ofra sent me, but I'm just gonna risk it. If there's fallout, there's fallout, and I'll fix it then. I'm just gonna whiz through doing the base that I have been doing. You guys don't need to know. It's Aaron's Face's concealer, green color corrector. I mean, you do need to know, but you already know if you've been watching me. Green color corrector, Aaron's Face's concealer, use this ColourPop concealer again. I'm just gonna get like that sort of no makeup base and then build on it. Anyway, in my timeline, I don't know when this is gonna go up, but in my timeline, yesterday was the day that I filmed with the Aaron's Face's mascara and put up that video, which was, you know, I was reviewing that mascara and I wanted to post it on the launch day, but it was really just to get ready with me. It was like a kind of chatty get ready with me, except that I was mostly chatting about the makeup itself. But I also chatted a little bit about, you know, how things are going and the act of wearing makeup in quarantine and stuff like that. Today's one of those days where I feel really overwhelmed in like this fight or flight way. Really, it's just like a flight way, like a panicky flight response way. Just about the questions of like what's going to happen and all of the tasks I have to do, because I do have a lot of tasks that haven't stopped just because this is happening. Emails, forms to fill out, things to apply for, taxes, like just stuff that I need to do that to keep life going, to keep like adult life going, you know, prescriptions, like just all of those kinds of logistical aspects of life that weirdly feel like they've been made double or triply hard, like emotionally hard, even though theoretically the decks should have been cleared to perform those tasks because there's so little else on my schedule. I'm totally off topic. What was I talking about? I'll circle back to that, the issue of feeling like that panic response to thinking about all the stuff I have to do, because it was one of the things I wanted to chat about in this chatting Get Ready With Me. I just was thinking about how yesterday, taking a break from all of my other tasks to film that video while I was putting on makeup, which was something that I was going to do anyway, it was actually really nice. Like it made filming feel like this exciting release from everything else that I had to do, just a little moment of calm in the day. And then I was able to edit it fairly fluidly and quickly and get it up on the same day. And it just made me think that maybe and I've said this before, I've gone through periods of like high pressure life before and like then defaulted to a bunch of chatty get ready with me's because they in some ways are kind of easier to fit in, easier to film logistically, emotionally, schedule wise. And it's just, I'm kind of returning to that idea right now. And so today I woke up and I was like, when I put my makeup on today, I'm going to film it again. And I'm going to use some of this Ofra stuff and just talk about things, talk off the cuff, kind of check in. Because I feel like as much as I would love to be creating like really exciting, invigorating, like high production value content or like deep content or listicle content that gets all the clicks because it has like a great thumbnail and an attractive, catchy idea behind it and all this stuff. As much as I would love to be doing that right now, I don't have the human resources. That's not really how we usually use the phrase human resources. I don't have the internal resources. Like I don't have the resources. I'm using the resources that I would be using for that for other things. But I think what I was getting at is that as much as I would love to be able to be doing that right now, I'm hearing from you guys that it's really just any kind of thing, like any connection is really what you crave. And I think that for a lot of you, you aren't even necessarily watching the content for the content's sake. You're watching it just to like be connected and be soothed, and in many cases to fall asleep or to have something on in the background. And it will only be to all of our benefits if I kind of embrace that and allow myself to create content in that spirit as well. Not exclusively, like not like I'm only just going to be doing chill, spacey, get ready with me is like every single day until the end of time. But if I can embrace that spirit, that like low pressure spirit of making videos, then I'll end up making more videos during this busy time. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just doing it. I'm just sitting here putting on my makeup with you instead of doing it alone. And I was originally thinking that just for like elegance sake or for maybe for length's sake, I don't know why I was originally thinking this, but I was originally thinking that I would like film myself getting ready, like film myself putting my makeup on every day for, 3 or 4 days in a row and then compile it into one long video. But then I remembered that I always end up with like 40 or 50 minutes of footage when I film myself getting ready, and it's definitely enough for one full video, so I might as well just make each one its own video and produce as many videos as I can. So I do feel like compared to the VDL Lumi Layer Primer, my skin right now looks more matte with all the same products on top, with the Northern Lights primer from Ofra underneath. It doesn't look matte, it looks satiny, it looks like a satin finish. It just looks more matte than it usually does with the VDL Lumi layer. So that's really interesting. It feels nice though. It's a nice like neutral satin primer, I feel, and it does have a really nice moisturizing texture. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in for eyes because if I do get fallout, I can easily repair my base, but if I like put more cheek product on, if I go and like finish with my cheeks, it will be harder to repair. Ofra sent me this little 5-pan palette. It's called the Signature palette in the shade Irresistible Smoky Eyes. I feel like they just came out with a bunch of little 5-pan palettes like this. And I love this one because it has like a glossy matte black. It's like a shimmery charcoal that really has a glisten to it. And I want that all over my lids. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just put that down. I'm just gonna go in with it. It's already on my finger. I didn't really have a plan, and now this is my plan. Okay, I have no plan. I don't know what I'm doing, and I've never really used this palette before, but I'm going to go into this. It's like a champagne-y shade that has some shimmer to it. Seems like a really versatile shade. And I'm just going to buff that really hard into the crease of my eye and kind of go back and forth with that shimmery black and just try to get a soft blend of this deep color into this more neutral color. All right, that has definitely given me like a messy, patchy, grubby, smoky base. This is kind of like makeup playtime. I'm not being very careful with this. I'm just kind of like playing as I do. But I'm going to go in with the actual black in here, like the deep black, and just try to give it a little bit of definition and structure so that it looks more intentional. I'm going into the lighter gray in here because I feel like I need to put some more depth above my crease. I feel like the darkness is all too far down and it's not helping out my hooded eye shape. So I'm taking that lighter gray and bringing it up higher, closer to my brows. I feel like these shadows are performing pretty well. I'm able to control them, like they're doing what I want, basically, which is like, I mean, even though I half don't know what I want, I'm sort of just experimenting, but they're not making that experimentation difficult. It's like they are doing what I would expect an eyeshadow to do. The other thing is I do definitely feel like this palette is well designed in that it has all of the colors that I would need when building a look like this. So I started with the sort of shimmery charcoal, building the base, and then that neutral shadow was there when I needed it, and then the black was there when I needed it, and then the gray was there when I needed it. So it was like the palette really offered up to me exactly what I was needing at any given moment. So I really like it. I feel like it's going to come in handy to have it around for a while I'm trying to decide if I want to keep it or not. I do think this is a great sort of like simple smoky look. It looks like it's just one shade, like kind of a rich gray all over the lids, but obviously we know that I used 4 to build in dimension. It's fine. I did get some fallout, but I wasn't trying not to, and I tend to go in pretty hard with shadows. So overall, it's nice. I want to put something glossy over the top because I'm me, and this is just me getting ready for the day, and that is absolutely what I would do on a normal day. I think I'm just gonna go in with my go-to topper for glossiness because I don't have Natasha Denona Cava at my disposal from the gold palette because it's packed away. My go-to topper right now is the topper on top of the Tom Ford Naked Bronze Cream and Powder Eye Color. And I'm gonna just tap it all over to get like that black glossy look. So I feel like that softened the look. It helped obscure the patchiness of my uncommitted blending out here, kind of in the outer corner and towards the brow. Made the whole thing look a little bit more cohesive. It's like by making it sort of more diffuse and smudgy and reflective, because when you add something reflective, you kind of break something up into pieces. It's like the light is scattering as it hits those glitters. So by adding that, it kind of undoes the sense of formality in the look, and that's kind of like to my advantage for a look like this. Ofra sent me a couple of eyeliners and I tried them out last night and I really couldn't get them to perform. I'm gonna try one again right now. I think I'm gonna try this one. It's called Evergreen. It's like a deep smoky green, like a blackened green. I'm gonna try getting it to apply to my waterline. This is what I couldn't get it to do last night when I was playing with them. They just feel kind of dry compared to most of the eyeliners that I use, but let's try again. Yeah, I'm still struggling with it. It feels kind of like a lip liner that I would like. Like it's got that sort of stiffness, almost like a waxy or chalky feeling that I feel like means that I can get a lot of control in my lip line and that'll be tenacious on the lips instead of just sliding off. So I tend to like that in a lip liner rather than something like uber creamy and squishy. But I like something uber creamy and squishy for my waterline because it will actually transfer onto that wet membrane of the waterline and the tight line. And this isn't doing that. I'm able to get a little bit of sort of gray depth there. I was definitely able to get it to transfer in between my lashes on the actual skin underneath my waterline, but to get it onto the actual mucous membrane, it was kind of a no-go. But I do feel like it deepened up the look enough, and I'm ready to apply mascara and clean up the fallout and move on. But I think I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm gonna turn off the camera, and when I come back, I'll be zoomed back out again. I'll have the fallout cleaned up and I'll have the mascara on and we can do the rest. Okay, I'm back with mascara on, and as I was putting on the mascara, I was reflecting on this as a look for daytime and the fact that people often ask me, like, how do you use black shadow? How does it not get out of control? I think that in this case, what keeps this look looking like something that wouldn't be completely out of place in the daytime. I mean, I think in certain environments, obviously it would be a bit intense or a bit intense for daytime. But if there's an environment in which a look like this can work for day, the thing that makes this look work particularly, there are a couple of things. One, when I went in with the mascara, I didn't do the most. I did a couple of layers, but I didn't like build and build and build until I got those super intense spidery lashes. I really love that kind of lash look, but I tend to mobilize it when I have a more casual or a lighter look on my lids, maybe like a glistening watercolory look, and I want to even it out by making it a little more dramatic. In this case, I feel like there's drama on the lids, so I kept the lashes a little bit softer, kind of more feminine, a little bit less aggressive, and a little bit more sort of gentle and fluttery. There's also no black eyeliner. That's a thing that could quickly push this look over into looking super dramatic or nighttime, formal, or overdone, just depending on everything else. And so even though I tried to put that kind of smoky green liner in, it just ended up being like a soft smudge of gray in the waterline and on the lower lash line. I also put some of the dark gray eyeshadow on underneath my lower lash line, underneath my lower lashes with a pencil brush, and I sort of gently softened the line, but I didn't then go back and buff it out really far down with a bigger brush, which is what I often do. I kept the lower lash line pretty simple and pretty contained. So it's less of a smudgy, sort of stuck in with a sooty thumb look on the lower lash line. That is all just on the upper lash line. I also didn't put any glitter on the lower lash line. So I feel like the simplicity of the lower lash line helps to keep it a little bit contained. And for all of those reasons together, I wouldn't feel out of place. I wouldn't feel like I was overly made up if I, for example, like wore this look to the grocery store or to a brunch or something. You know, it would definitely be like a choice, but it wouldn't be, I feel like a choice that was inelegant. The other thing that I would do if I were going to wear this out as a daytime look is that I would use a cream product on the cheeks. I would want to keep the rest of the face very clean feeling, very clean and glowy and even, not makeup-y and not powdery in any way. I think that with black on the eye, with like a sooty color grounding the eye look, it can very quickly be overdone or look more formal if you use, for example, a red lip, if you use cakey makeup on the rest of the face, if you use a particularly bright cheek. And now I'm completely talking myself out of using the Raisin blush, which is what I was going to use today. Ofra sent me this powder blush. It's like a deep brown, ruddy blush, but it isn't what I would ordinarily do with this look. And I'm going to be filming myself getting ready a lot, I hope, so I'll just make sure to use it in another video. I think that my instinct for this is to go with one of my kind of like very, very lightest cream blushes. But you know, I didn't really mean lightest. I meant like least aggressive, like a non-aggressive cream blush, and one that doesn't have too much of a punch of color presence. So I'm going to mix my Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand and Spotlight with ColourPop Roosevelt. It's going to be like a hefty dose of the Beauty Spotlight wand and a bit of Roosevelt. I'm actually going to put Roosevelt onto the brush to keep it like a lighter application. So it added color to my face. It's not like it has no color. It's just very glossy, very blended out and diffused. There's not like a concentrated spot of color on my cheek. It's almost like I just enhanced my entire complexion and like changed the overall effect of my complexion to make it a little bit richer and more glossy. Okay, so I in the interim, things were happening in the house. I put my mole back on and I took a moment to feel myself. I really like this eye look. I feel like it is what I was wanting it to be, which is something that I feel super comfortable wearing just for like a day around the house. It doesn't feel like it got out of control, and it has that kind of like sultry, casual, smudgy look that I usually do with like a bronze. I usually do it in like a warm toned brownie color, and it's that, but it's in like a blackened or a charcoal color. And it feels like it's working. I don't know. I might go ahead and like film another video while I have this makeup on, because I like it more than I thought that I would. But I was also reflecting while I was putting my mole back on silently that I was going to try to do like a chatty get ready with me and chat about other things, and I just have kind of failed at that so far, except for chatting about the idea of doing more chatty get ready with me's. But I wanted to return back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video about that feeling of being like completely overwhelmed by all of the tasks that need to be done, and somehow feeling like less of an ability to do them, even though theoretically there's more time to do them, or more freedom to do them, or whatever, and how I've been dealing with that. Today was a morning when I woke up feeling particularly panicky. I felt like I was having kind of like a biological panic response to all of the things that need to be done. But what I know, and I'm putting soap in my brows while I tell you about this, and in doing that, smash hitting, perfectly executing the brief of a chatty get ready with me, I realized, of course, upon reflection, that it's not just all the stuff that's making me feel this way. It is the fact that we're dealing with like an unprecedented global situation, and everything's turned on its head and topsy-turvy, and large portions, as I said in my check-in recently, large portions of kind of like my inner life are being devoted, even like without me trying to devote them. Large portions of my management skills for my life are being devoted to simply just managing what's happening, right? And so obviously I just needed like a minute to think about it, to figure out that obviously what's going on is that even though in theory, in this like very isolated way, if you just only look at one side of the problem, in theory I should have like more time and more resources and more energy to do all of the logistical tasks of my life that are asking me for my time. In theory, even though that would be true if you look at all sides of the issue, then if I look at all sides of the issue, then I can understand that in reality, I actually have fewer resources than usual. And that's why thinking about all of the emails that I need to respond to, and just the boxes that need checking, and the kinds of planning that I need to do, that's why it's making me feel so like incapable of living my adult life right now. And of course, I have to be honest with myself that the larger questions about like what we're going to do over the next several months, and what we're going to decide to do, and then even larger questions than that, which are just like the biggest questions about my life. Like, am I going to achieve the benchmarks of success that I want for myself? Am I going to manage to do the work that I want to do? And like my worries about how this pandemic might be putting like a wrench in the works of the larger mechanisms of my life, like my entire life goals, my desires for myself. I'm thinking about it all at once. So the way that I sort of explained it to myself was, I woke up this morning and felt really overwhelmed by the fact that I need to like switch my prescription to home delivery and answer a bunch of emails and plan what I'm going to do, and like finish this writing project and all this stuff. But if I'm honest with myself, that wasn't all that I was freaking out about. I'm bringing it up because I think it's probably a common problem. I think many of us are probably waking up on the wrong side of the bed several mornings, just feeling like our lives have literally been made impossible, and then forgetting to realize that we're worrying about more than just the immediate tasks, and then feeling bad because, this morning I was like, what's wrong with me that I like am panicking about these tasks? Like, these are just the tasks of adulthood. I should be able to do them without blinking. And I should have more grit about these kinds of things. And so then on top of feeling that sort of like instinctive panicky feeling, I was being mean to myself about it. I was like scolding myself and already feeling bad about feeling bad. before I'd even gotten out of bed. So the reason I'm telling this sob story is that a couple of hours later, or as I was like moving through the middle part of my morning before I got to here where we are now, I was reflecting on it, thinking about it, and thinking about the fact that I needed to give myself a break because there's so much more going on for me and everyone right now. There's so much more going on than just having tasks to do. And the much more that's going on is what's making the tasks feel so impossible. And I just need to like let it be okay. I was musing on that, and I had this weird thought, and maybe these get ready with me as if I do manage to keep filming them are just going to be like Hannah's weird thoughts, because that is kind of like what provoked me to sit down and talk with you today, is that I had this weird thought, and then I was like, maybe I could tell my subscribers about that. And the thought was in response to me asking myself, how on earth am I going to get all this stuff done? It's like I don't have the ability to visualize myself successfully completing all of these tasks in a timely fashion. I cannot imagine that I won't drop the ball somewhere. That is what the source of my feelings, my like hyperventilation feelings, that was the source of them. In response to that, I had the thought, maybe what matters isn't how I'm going to get them all done or whether I can get them all done. Maybe that isn't what matters. Maybe what matters is just that my life's going to go on in some way or another, regardless of whether I drop the ball and regardless of whether I make a mess out of something or disappoint someone. Something's going to happen. Like we're going somewhere. It's going to end up in one way or another. And I just can't know how it's all going to unfold, and I can't control it. Maybe just knowing that and knowing that life's going on is the thing to focus on, and that is what matters. And that even if I don't execute all of my tasks perfectly in a timely manner and respond to all my emails like before people start to wonder where I am, and just say all the right things at the right time and get everything done when I said I would and all this stuff, even if I don't manage to do that, I feel weird saying it this way because it makes me feel irresponsible. But maybe it doesn't matter that much, because then something will happen after that. It's not like that will be the catastrophe that ends my world if I don't manage to like keep all of my strings tied tightly and nice in a bow. What will happen is life will go on and something else will happen, and maybe I'll have to manage a new situation or apologize to someone, or things will end up taking longer than I thought that they would. But it's just like, no matter what the outcome is going to be of all of these things and of all of it together, feeling bad about feeling bad right now isn't going to help. And this is like the same old, because I do go through versions of this. I have gone through versions of feeling this way in normal times, because there have been other times when I'm busy and other times when I felt overwhelmed. It's just that during those times I haven't had to also like manage this chaos inside of myself at the same time. So in theory, I had like more resources then. I just stopped talking and then spent a long time shaping my brows into a much more groomed position. And I kind of like it. Anyway, I feel like I was just like talking nonsense, and either I'm currently not in possession of my usual ability to be articulate, or maybe these like thoughts and feelings are only half formed already, and I'm trying to like tell them to you before they're fully formed. I just had this moment where I kind of like swooped in and rescued myself from what felt like a response of my nervous system, like a panicked response in my nervous system. I rescued myself from that by telling myself that all of the little things that I have to do just aren't as important as I think that they are. I just had this moment of like seeing beyond the tasks and seeing my life as being more than the tasks at hand, and seeing my value as being more than just my ability to execute those tasks right now. And that just helped a lot. It sounds so much like dumber and more obvious, and also like less impactful in relating it to you than it did when it happened this morning. But I wanted to do my best, my meager best, to just tell you that. Here's how I envisioned it. Maybe this will help, because it's like a visual metaphor, like an image for the way that I saw it in my mind's eye when it happened. I imagined myself just I imagine my life as being like a cube with sides, where I'm trying to like keep the sides in place and like keep it organized. Keep organized. That's what it is. Like make sure that everything gets done and so everything stays together. And and in order to keep it organized, keep it held in, I have to like execute all of these tasks at a certain time. And I just imagined letting those sides of the cube just dissolve and letting the boundaries of my life relax. And so that I keep existing, but I flow out, and I don't need everything to like be contained like that. And so it has to do with like not being so obsessed with tying up loose ends from the past, and not being so obsessed with planning for the future, and not being so obsessed with making sure that you manage like everyone's expectations and your own expectations, and follow through on everything that you ever like thought you would do or said you would do or hoped you would do. But just like removing those boundaries and just letting my life exist, because my life is going to exist. It exists now in this moment, whether I keep those boundaries in place or not. I'm a very visual person, so that visual metaphor that kind of like flashed into my mind of just like relaxing the boundaries of my life and like letting it be okay that it's messy, that was what really helped me, that like gave me something to hold on to. So maybe for some of you, if the total nonsense I was talking before didn't make sense, maybe this will have made sense. But I'm sure that there are some people watching for whom this also felt like total nonsense. So I'm going to move on to something more concrete, which is that I have been consistently meditating every morning. It's like one of the things that one of the standards that I've held myself to. I haven't been able to exercise every day. I haven't eaten well every day. I haven't managed to go to sleep early every night. Like there are a lot of things that I try to do for health that I've been like wavering on from time to time. But the meditation, I have not let that go. And it's relevant here because I'm talking about having woken up to, again, what felt like a nervous system response to what's going on. It was coming from my body and affecting my brain. And meditation helps with that system. It calms down those like instinctive panic feelings, even just the breathing, but especially the act of like returning your mind over and over again to where you are instead of letting it wander and range and chatter and obsess, just like pulling it back over and over. All of that really helps. And I definitely feel myself when I wake up in the morning being like, and then I have my meditation pretty quickly in the morning. I mean, pretty soon after I wake up. And I definitely feel like it kind of centers me and resets me, and it always means that I have a better day than I would have had. So I can't recommend that highly enough. I use an app called the Mindfulness app, but I always use Tara Brock's meditations, and I think you can get some of her meditations for free on her website. So I'll link that down below because I feel like that's more relevant than the app that I use. All right, I'm gonna go in with this lip liner in Spicy just a little bit because of all of the Ofra products that I like played with last night after I opened the box, this lip gloss in Truffle is one of my favorites. It impressed me so much and I'm really excited to put it on again. But just in the interest of like trying more products, I'm gonna try this lip liner too. It's hard, it's really hard and waxy, but I like that in a lip liner. I like a lip liner to be stiff, not soft and not gooey. So I think I'm gonna really like this. And it's a nice color, a nice kind of like watery pinkish browny red. It's given me just a very, very soft, very natural looking, slightly more defined lip. So that's gonna be fun. And I also feel like it's different than the other colors that I have. It's almost like it's a little bit redder, or a little pinker, maybe a little lighter. It's gonna be fun to play with. And it's the sharpening kind, the wooden pencil, which is my absolute favorite. All right, here we go with the lip gloss in Truffle. It smells really strongly of fruit bubblegum almost. It's brown, and I was worried that it was going to be too dark, and that because I'm so fair, that if I sort of applied it messily or applied it juicily, that it would look icky. But it's so sheer that it really is just like a cast of color and a sheer gloss with some sparkle. I put it on for a while last night and sort of like did stuff around the house, and I really enjoyed it. I like how it feels. I liked how it was wearing. and I really like the way that it looks. So that is it. That's the whole look. That was just me getting ready for the day. I have a bunch of tasks, of course, a bunch of things to do around the house, and I'm hoping to get another video filmed too, so I'm gonna go do that. I hope that this was at least just something to watch, something to like hang out with, or to get ready with, or to go to sleep to. And I hope that for at least some of you out there, what I was trying to explain made sense. I'm sure that I'm not the only person who has had moments of feeling just completely hamstrung by the combination of the inevitable imperfection of life as it is right now, just how much of a struggle so many things are that aren't usually a struggle, the combination of that with all of the tasks that still need to get done, and all of the unclarity in the future and in our schedule both tomorrow and in like the coming months. Just the combination of all of that stuff I think can cause a kind of like daily panic, or just like make you feel like you're living in a state of more panic. And so now more than ever, I have had to rally like the work that I've done against perfectionism in my life, because perfectionism is just out the window. It just is, in every way, in every corner of my life. The joke that is the attempt at perfection has like, it feels like it's reached every corner and it's like sweeping out the cobwebs. And I think that is what I'm like trying to explain that I'm dealing with right now. And I'm gonna stop there, but if you guys have any, if it makes sense to you, if you have any like other ways of framing that, or if it's been manifesting in different ways in your lives, obviously I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.